Okay, looks like we're live. So, hello everybody. Welcome to Super Soldier Talk here on the new channel. We're actually Jimmy is still trying to set up on some stuff. So, what I'm going to do is I was going to do two videos tonight. The first video was an update on the infiltrator that showed up on my channel. I feel obligated to my listeners to give my side of the story and some information, mostly to inform other people in the SS community that there's an attack campaign underfoot. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to start a new show, a new live stream afterward. So this will probably take about 30 minutes, and then we'll go into Jimmy Paine. But Jimmy Paine's going to actually add some commentary, so that's why he wanted to join in on this part. And I know the title says something different. I'll get that fixed in just a bit. So beginning here, so I wrote this up, and I'm going to read it verbatim, but hopefully it won't sound too boring here. But yeah, normally I do not like to share private information about individuals in a public forum without their consent. However, due to recent attacks by a certain group of fake whistleblowers and infiltrators into the SSP disclosure community, I feel the need to break protocol and update listeners with an important message to help unify the community and warn others of what the dark side is attempting to partake. So this story begins when a client of mine purchased a meditation session with the intention to help him relax and suppress trauma. At least that's what is supposed to have his intention. I informed this client before that I'm not a seer, and the success of his session would be dependent on his own intuitive abilities, as my own abilities have been known to get hijacked from the Draco programming I've been subjected to. Even though I do consider myself a lone wolf, sometimes my consciousness is pulled out of my body, which affects my ability to discern, at least until I am done with the missions in my clone body. So about 2 to 5% of my soul is currently occupying this vessel, and it goes back and forth. The rest was stolen from me from the Draco, and I'm trying to get it all back. But and there's others. They put us through contracts. They trick us into making these contracts. But I don't work for the Draco anymore. But in the past, all this stuff is still affecting me. So even though right now I'm only partially in my body, I'm still quite talented to help others as a guide, to help them access archetypes and suppressed overlays, and to help them integrate if they so desire. But I only work with what their own higher self has or provides. So this particular client went into the session with the unwholesome intentions to begin with in order to embarrass me and to use the content to promote an evil form of journalism to paint the disclosure community as a joke by attacking lone wolves such as myself. It is my belief this client was suffering from multiple personality disorder and spent an extensive amount of time, actually he even admitted to doing that, training one of his personas to identify as an SSP experiencer by studying past speakers on Super Soldier Talk in order to befriend me. This client used his acting abilities based on real experiencers to manufacture a fictitious story which I agreed to promote on my show, or rather was manipulated to promote on my show. The client spent thousands of dollars on a trip to fly from Canada to Las Vegas to hear other SSP experiencers speak and present at the 5D conference event. During the time I was there, I spent most of the time filming, about 16 hours. I gave about 30 minutes of my time to allow this particular person to share his knowledge in the hopes that he could be able to help others who have been abused by similar organizations. Now, in my particular case, I was not paid as a speaker fee. I did not receive a speaker fee at the 5D events conference. I did not get compensation for my food, my room, or my airfare. So basically, I went to work there when I spent my own money to do a bunch of work for free. I also do not have a corporate sponsor. YouTube has demonetized my channel since 2016. PayPal has frozen and suspended donations into my nonprofit account. Amazon shut down my merchant account, accusing me of promoting violent content. My content on my old YouTube channel is shadow banned. Subscriber account numbers mysteriously vanish. And now they just hit me with multiple copyright strikes, claiming my interviews about Hollow Earth and the Dark Fleet are violent content. So, despite the fact that Super Soldier Talk is being restricted from its audience, I will continue to choose to be a lone wolf and to continue to do my best to document real experiencers. If infiltrators and fakers decide to show up on the scene again, I will eventually expose them for what they are. Even though I'm unable to vet my guest speakers from official military databases, I will implement new protocols which may involve screening people from some of the remote viewers I work with. But continue on with the story. So, actually, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Okay, good. So I don't want to be talking here if nobody can hear me. Okay, all right. Where was I? Continue on. All right, so a month or so after the conference, I spent about 8 hours editing this faker SSP experience video. 2 days after publishing this video, the client informed me that he was a trickster and made it all up and that he's an asshole. Furthermore, this client took footage from other experiencers on my channel along with the fake content he manipulated me into producing on his own YouTube channel, which he claims shows how he infiltrated a UFO cult. Yes, I was upset, not because, well, in part because he wasted my time, but also because many of us, including myself, have suffered horrific traumas and continue to be ridiculed over and over. And this has been going on ever since we begun, although it was really bad when I first started back in 2010. It's gotten a little bit better, but what he did, in my opinion, was sick and disgusting. However, it served in a positive way. It served to bring awareness to the topic, which I'm also happy about. I admit I only knew this person for a few minutes. I also admit that he never interviewed me. He doesn't know me. He is not even credible to comment about my life or the lives of those he is trying to ridicule. It was wrong to define us as a religious order, in my opinion. We experiencers involved in the secret space programs and missions off-world are just trying to educate humanity on how they enslaved us so that we can prevent everyone else from being a victim. And I've gone into this in past videos about future timelines. That's part of the reason why we're making these disclosures, because we're trying to save everybody in a way. Super Soldier, well, I guess you go and say, I pledge to continue to bring us to continue to make sure Super Soldier Talk will be a place to hold space for real experiencers to share their information in a non-judgmental manner. And I think I've done a pretty good job over the years, despite the fact that one person, well, there was another person that showed up in 2016, but he never made it to the interview phase. He was about to, but so occasionally some rotten apples do show up. The following is a remote viewing what I believe to be the events behind this particular event. The volunteer remote viewer has given me permission to publish this with names omitted. So this particular client is psychotic due to abuse by his parents and shattered and suffering from multiple personality disorder. The client is not the smartest person and seems to have sold his soul to the devil. There's some kind of feather gargoyle entity attached to his heart chakra. This survival mechanism helps him cloak and mask his true intentions and aids his ability in his undercover journalistic style. In Astral, there are 6 spiral objects over his heart chakra, acting as a transmitter and blocking his connection to God's source. The coil runs through programs and algorithms. It gives him a phrase or two or numbers to trigger him to do something stupid. His mind appears to be split up and divided by metallic plates that have programs created by family abuse, which allows him to dissociate his feelings without emotions. Overshadowing the client are also other demonic Draco entities in black hoods with smaller, thinner, sticky snouts, short snouts overshadowing this particular client. These entities surrounded me with their energy during our meditation session that prevented my subconscious from being in my consciousness. It also appears as if I signed a contract with him since I took money from him to help him in this particular meditation session. As a result, I accepted the beings that were interfering with him. I was in a vortex, not even myself during my interactions with him. I was unable to see. It is all fog. One of his personalities reached out to me for help. Another personality is an actor that was used to befriend me. Yet another one of his personalities is evil, allowing him to do what he does without feeling guilt. Client is borderline trans and probably gay. Client was made fun of and picked on in school, shattering his consciousness further. Client spent time in Discord chat rooms looking for someone to love and appreciate him, where he was noticed by another handler-type individual who was probably closeted homo and took him in and promised to frame promised to give him fame and success if he follows the script given to him. A low conscious energy body, and as a low conscious energy body and etheric, he was an easy target when asked if he wants to be famous with lots of money. All he has to do is say yes, and it is done. Client agreed to this evil style of journalism and became a slave in exchange for popularity and acceptance. He wants to be handled and controlled. It makes him feel special. Client on a subconscious level feels no guilt for what he has done, but respects me because I still have the freedom to speak my truth while he is not able to do the same. About 10% of what he said was true, but everything else was a script given to him by his handler. And so basically, he's not even that important. What we're looking at is this handler person that he was working with. And this individual seems to be another damaged individual from his horrible childhood and now suffering from alcoholism and oppressed by many attached demonic entities, probably as a result from that, but also through his childhood. One of these entities appeared to be controlling the client as well through him. The handler individual seems to be distanced from his own children and wife, and his marriage seems to be just for show. He acts in a destructive and abusive manner, and it's probably best he's not around his own children. Handler has connections to 5 individuals in Hollywood, which seem to be connected to some kind of Masonic cult layered in a hierarchical manner. Handler's producers give him a script and ask him to find vulnerable kids, such as my client, to try to turn them into this evil style of journalism. Each of the subjects are also tasked with locating other individuals to train them in the same type monarch protocols. The client feels comfortable in this new sect. It does appear Monarch is running the show. Those under the Hollywood boss, okay, we're going to get to the Hollywood boss just a bit. They have basically everybody underneath the Hollywood boss do not know they're being used. So whatever they say about us SSP experiencers is really about themselves. The handler has some kind of wolf pendant necklace. He views himself as the alpha in the pack of wolves. They call themselves a wolf pack, and they attack lone wolves like me. It's like a ritual for them. Goal is to train new recruits to also find other vulnerable, damaged children in a Discord-type chat rooms to give them scripts to show them how to attack other lone wolves who are against the Matrix and considered to be viruses to the system, such as myself. Jenny Lee and Ileana the Star Traveler were names on this list. Handler claims to be a leasing agent, but that appears to be more of a cover position. His connections to Hollywood seem to be tied into Masonry and groups which are seeking to control the disclosure narrative. The handler can be seen meeting in an office building with a Hollywood producer. One of the guys here seems to be wearing a black leather jacket and talking about how they need to get popular somehow with a bigger audience and being offered a position in a project to work with younger kids. He has a new project in mind as well as related to other vulnerable young people like my client and other famous YouTubers like Mr. Beast and as well as Michael Sanchez. Michael Sanchez seems to be part of this group. The goal is to recruit young individuals on YouTube and then put psychic hooks and implants that can attach to these children by watching these evil videos on YouTube. The goal is to get other kids interested in this kind of journalism so they can be used to attack other experiencers and whistleblowers. The dark side is trying to claim at least 30% of the souls before the planet returns back to the light, roughly around, I believe, 2025, 2028. They are trying to spread their web and infiltrate good people. So now we look at the Hollywood producer. So he has a boss, and this boss is 100% connected to the SSP as well as Monarch. The boss is discussing a multi-part plan to infiltrate SSP groups by splitting them into halves. James Rink's platform, the Super Soldier Talk, was the first part of that plan. The handler is unaware that his controllers are working for the SSP and Monarch. These controllers just want to discredit the disclosure movement to promote their own people to paint a narrative that they control. The SSP controllers, such as this Hollywood boss, do not understand that despite so much programming that they did to us, or more specifically, I guess for me, they still did not have me connect to my reptilian brain that is all about power over others, possession, and fame. So they were hoping they could put hooks into me like some other people. But in their frustration, they decided to go on this new attack campaign as the next best course of action. But everything has the beginning and the end, and this is the end of all the problems. All those situations were just a way to connect to the right people and see the truth about those who had masks on their faces pretending to be friends. So that's all I have for you. Let me go ahead and bring Jimmy in here. Jimmy, are you there?
Yes,
Were you listening to that?
yes.
What did you think?
Well, being that I'm kind of new to what's going on here, and I have not been to any of the super soldiers meetups. Um, this gentleman that infiltrated the super soldiers, you took him in, and you was uh, trying to assist him, trying to help him, and you know, as a person who has gone through traumatic experiences, uh, I can see that. But when someone fakes being a victim, fakes being a soldier, um, that kind of touches a nerve with me. You know, every day, 22 veterans commit suicide in this country. That's 7 days a week. 22 a day kills themselves. And, I can see you trying to take him in and trying to help him. But this individual took your time and wasted it. And while you could have been assisting other soldiers. And I just think that is horrendous, what has occurred here. Um, and another thing, uh, when this individual, I saw his interview on Infowars, and I'm not going to judge Infowars here because what happened to super soldiers could very well happen to Infowars in the future. And he's clearly looking for an outlet, a platform to air some grievances here. Um, but what I'm concerned with is why didn't he do this to the Patriots instead of the super soldiers? Infowars is known for giving the Patriots a platform. Super Soldiers is a completely different. It's just completely different in nature, and it sounds like it's almost like as if your free speech is being curtailed here. That you're trying to be discredited, and that it's being turned into hate speech. What you can say and what you can't say. So I view this individual uh, with, I view him as kind of an individual that should be watched, not just by super soldiers, but by all the groups concerned with what's going on now in the United States.
Okay. Do you have any other further comments? I think you said you had some information um, about this particular individual. That,
Well, well, you have to look at the Black Lives Matter. Um, I don't know where he came from, but um, he shows up on Infowars, and someone paid for his airfare. Someone had to pay to fly him around and put him in a hotel. And I'm interested in how he makes his money. where he gets his money from. If you trace back where how he obtains his money, it says a lot about him. And I believe one reason that Super Soldiers, the platform wasn't damaged as much as it was because we don't, the Super Soldiers themselves don't really have, you know, different corporations that are funding it. It's funded by individuals, but I would not put it past. Um, it seems to follow a pattern here. I just would not be surprised that he's tied in with the royal family out in California. We have a prince walking around from England, and Meghan Markle, and there seems to be some racial uh, friction between her and the royal family, and it's like um, it's like that they're looking for an opportunity here, because if the United States ever gets to um, fighting amongst themselves, um, you know, you got to consider the United States used to be a colony of Great Britain, and when it comes to all this far out stuff that's going on, um, they're definitely after the Patriots, but how the super soldiers got caught up in it, it just remains a mystery to me. Um, but he definitely went from the super soldiers platform to Infowars, and that's very interesting. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
Well, I didn't even watch the interview, but information was relayed to me as the interview viewer didn't even ask any relevant questions, didn't really even know about the SSP. So it's not even, in my opinion, even worthwhile to watch. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave it at that because I do not like to do gossip and talk about smack about people. It's never been my policy, even if they are really nasty to me. I've had some people that I befriended. I just bite my tongue and try to be as polite as possible, but I'm going to just leave it at that. We're going to go live again in a few minutes with a new show to begin because Jimmy Paine has some updates, and we'll go into all that. So everybody, thank you very much, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Just check back on this channel, and the new live stream should show up. So thank you, and thank you, Jimmy.